Greetings everyone, Joseph James here from theschooloftrade.com. Today was February 26, 2010. Had a great day in the live trade room, had a great week in the live trade room. Hope you guys were there with us. Before we talk about the trades we took today, guys, there are three important links in our videos here on the YouTube page. If you're watching the videos right now, three important links in the description. One is for our 12-month track record, another is for our 3-week trial, and the third link will take you right to our blog. We have a special video series right now on the Discipline Cycle Workshop, so make sure you guys check out the blog. That's schooloftrade.com/blog. We took 4 trades today, 2 losses, 2 winners, and of course our trade management strategies are what caused us to be successful today. We didn't need to take all winners. We were able to cut our losses early, maximize our profitable trades. 22 ticks out of the market, 210. You can see, as usual, I can't seem to go a Friday these days without giving back a little bit of money towards the end of the morning. I can never seem to finish up early enough on a Friday. Now, what's the most important that happened today? We knew, of course, this morning, going into it yesterday, if you guys watched the video yesterday, we knew we had what? We had a big snowstorm plan for today. They're calling these things snowacanes now. So much for global warming. I thought the planet was warming up. We also knew this morning we had from 9:30 till 10:30, we had a bunch of news. We had 9:30 open, we had 9:55 news, 9:45 news, 10 o'clock news. So between about 9:15 and 10:05 this morning, we couldn't trade because we were waiting for these news events to make themselves out. We also knew today was a Friday. And of course, a Friday, just like everybody else, we all want to leave early on a Friday. Well, Fridays will end early. So we knew we had kind of a late start because we had all that news events at the open, and we had an early close because it was a Friday, so there are fewer people in the market, which means we had a much smaller window of opportunity today than what we would like to see on a normal Friday. We also noticed today when we opened up our charts, the dollar was very flat and choppy. In fact, if you look at the dollar today, guys, here's a great snapshot on the dollar index futures. And I wanted to show you guys something that we watch every day in the live trade room. This is a great example today of kind of how this whole thing played out. Now, you'll notice, guys, this is my slower time frame chart here on the dollar. Okay, my slower time frame chart. And you're going to notice we have a couple key things here. We have 2 swing lows down here. See these 2 big swing lows here? And we marked it up with this blue line, right? This blue line that comes across. Now, at the time, we hadn't seen this break below the blue line yet. We hadn't seen that yet. So we opened up our charts, 7:45, 8 o'clock this morning, and we began looking at this and saying, okay, if we began to break down below this blue line, these double bottoms here, we were probably going to see the same thing we always see, right? Bunch of rookies jumping in early. It's going to, of course, entice the rest of us to be shorting it as well, but it's probably not going to short. It's probably going to bounce right back up in. Remember, guys, we talked about earlier this week about how we trade the reaction, not trying to predict this break down, right? Well, of course, we don't trade the dollar. We use the dollar as a correlation. But what we noticed was, though, is that looking at once we broke below this blue line, we knew we were going to start seeing some sluggishness, some choppiness, and because it was on the main, right, the slow time frame, the slow time frame tells us around these double bottoms, right, big head and shoulders patterns, okay, same thing applies to other markets. We want to be careful because around those areas, you're going to start seeing things get very choppy. Now, if you follow me down here, right, this happened here, guys, at about 10:30 this morning, right? So about 10:30 this morning, right, we saw the dollar start to break down below this blue line. We knew what to look for. We looked for that double bottom there. We knew that when the dollar had support, that was going to equal resistance on the gold and crude. We knew going into this morning, once we saw price begin to break down below this blue line, things were probably going to get kind of funky in the rest of our markets. And I think that's pretty much what happened, right? What did we see today? We saw some pretty decent price action until about 10:30. And then everything hit the fan, right? Then all of a sudden things started slowing down, getting very choppy. And of course, I couldn't resist to give back some money towards the end of the morning here. But guys, 10:30, let's keep that in the back of our mind. So at 10:30, things start becoming more difficult here. And as you can see, first trade of the day, guys, on gold. This is a 2-step pattern short. Now, a 2-step pattern is a trend reversal pattern, which means we're going to be looking at the short-term trend up. You can see the slope of my trigger line here, nice strong trend up. We have an auto level up top here, right? This red line here is an auto level at 1113.2. We mark up our swing high here. Notice how we could have taken a breaker pattern long up there, but no opportunity for it. We mark up our swing low and we break below the swing low before we broke above the swing high, so we take the 2 steps short. 12.5 was the entry. However, though, if you follow me down, guys, follow me all the way down bottom here, you'll see we have momentum, of course, begins to curl and point back up. Momentum curls, I move my stop to entry because for my short trade, I want momentum curling over from the top. If it begins curling up from the bottom here, guys, I want to get out of that trade as soon as possible, so I move my stop to entry. We, of course, got a couple ticks out of it, got 4 ticks out of the trade, or 40 USD. So we see momentum curl against us. We move our stop to our point of entry to lock out all the risk. That way, if this trade reverses against us, guys, we have no risk in the market. But if it takes off to the downside like it did, we end up making $40 or 40 ticks. Not a huge winning trade, but the best part about it is our trade management. We were looking in the right spots. We knew when we saw momentum curl against us, we knew to protect our capital first and tighten up that stop. Now over on crude, here's a scratch trade on crude. We didn't see a lot of very strong price action all morning this morning. We knew it was a pretty slow day, so we were playing it relatively conservatively most of the morning here this morning. Short-term trend here was up on crude. We of course have this auto level, right? This red line here at 79.07, 79.06. We then have the swing high right above there. It then breaks above for the breaker pattern long. 24 was the fill, of course, 79.24. We had, of course, our stop at entry for another scratch here. Now, this is a good example here. You notice we broke above this swing high here, but you'll notice how bad the fill was. The swing high here was about 79.10. Okay, we didn't get our fill up here until quite a bit higher. So we were seeing a lot of this very illiquid environment this morning. We broke above this swing high, got a bad fill. Once we got that bad fill, it reminded us, right, these low volume, choppy environments are usually going to produce that stuff. We move our stop to entry. Once we saw momentum begin to then curl and point back down, right, follow us down here, you'll see momentum begin to curl and point back down. So, of course, right away we realized, boy, this thing may reverse against us and go to our stop to entry for a scratch trade. As you can see, though, it ended up kind of chopping its way towards the upside here, but not after we were already out of the trade. But basically, guys, once again, low volume. We weren't seeing a lot of movements that really got us into these trades. We weren't seeing those big buyers show up when we saw momentum pointing up, or big sellers when we saw momentum pointing down. Now, our next up, guys, now we're starting to get towards that 10:30 mark. And you can see here, guys, the last trade we took before 10:30 was here on gold at 10:25. This was a breaker pattern long. Short-term trend here was up. You can tell that by looking at my slope, my trigger line here. We break above this red line. We mark up our swing high. We had the 6 ticks of room. Had the high of day here overhead, but we had enough room. We had 6 ticks of room between the swing high and the high of day. We waited for that big flurry of buyers here. Once we broke above the high, had enough room to take it. 14 even was the fill. We got our +4 target filled, our +8 target filled. Then we trailed our stop 6 more ticks, locking 22 ticks total, or 220 USD. Great example today, guys, of how we're going to take the best trades we possibly can. Our trade management believes that if we don't see price moving in our direction, we're going to tighten up that stop, protect our capital first, and because of that, we're able to be in a position where this trade puts us into the green and makes some pretty good money. Now, if we wouldn't have tightened up our stop, if we wouldn't have been conservative today, right, aggressive with our defense, we would have been constantly trying to get money back in our pocket after giving it back to the market. With our trade management being conservative in this nature, we're able to, of course, cut our losses early. Most importantly, though, that enables one winning trade now to make us some pretty good money. Okay, if we wouldn't have had this disciplined approach, we would have a much harder time getting back in the green. So, of course, that 22-tick winner there, guys, puts us in above the zero line there in our account, and we'll finish up on the euro here right now. Like I said, though, guys, I was talking about this in the room this morning. Short-term trend here is up on the euro. We have the high of the day here. So, of course, at the high of day, what are we looking for? We look for the breaker pattern long. Didn't see it there, though, so we look to mark up our swing low. We break below the swing low. The big problem, though, was that at this point, the market was very slow here. And, I'll be the first to admit, in a trade room environment, we're always trying to make sure we show you guys more trades. That may be the reason why I continually give back money every Friday morning. But once again, this is one trade too many here today. Two-step pattern is short, guys. Counter trend trade, 62 was the fill. An early exit, things were just not moving quickly at all. They were really slow at this point. We saw a bunch of big sellers getting us in. We got in on this candle here, and then by the time we saw nothing was moving, I moved my stop to the entry point, got taken out for -1 on my stop, which of course is 4 ticks total, or on the euro at 12.50 per tick, you're going to see $50 out of the account. So, total them all up, guys, 4 total trades, gave a little bit of money back there towards the end of the morning, kind of forcing a trade there towards the end of the morning. But again, after 10:30 today, we really started to see the things slow down and get very choppy and very sloppy. And we know a lot of that was correlated with that dollar index you're watching earlier on. Let's prep for Monday. End of the month. So, of course, next Monday, 8:30 personal income, 9:30 U.S. market open, 10 o'clock construction spending, Monday, March 1st. So we'll start a brand new month, guys, on Monday morning. And as you guys know, live trade room opens up at 7:45. I want to encourage you guys to come out as either a lifetime member or as a free trial guest. We do webinars on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, right in the trade room. So come out and join us, guys. The beginner's course is great for free trial members because it's going to give you information about our routine, our setups, our entry rules, the marks we trade, and some good firm foundation of knowledge to build on the live trade room. If you want more information about lifetime membership, guys, just drop us an email, saleschooltrade.com. And I want to give a big, warm welcome to all of our new members out there. All of our new members that joined up this week for the end of the month discounts. Congratulations. We'll see you guys on Monday morning. My name is Joseph James. Hope the video helps. We'll see you guys then. Bye-bye for now.